Oh my. Lanta, there is an armpit shot for you. Boom! So fresh and so clean. Ah! Forgot I was rocking these out without the overhead spot on because of the eye patch. Let there be light as I look up into the bright light and see the vision. No, I don't know. Uncle Rico Storytime, episode 98, I think. I was going about my day today at work. Oh, wicked bong hit. I was going on my about my day today at work. I just wanted to do a quick round and then go to the gym fairly early. Sorry about that. Holy. And I promised I wouldn't keep bagging on my company because I know my bosses are watching, but for fuck's sake. Adam, Kelly, Sarah, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to tune in. If you disagree with anything that I'm about to say, feel free to comment. Actually, if any one of you three comment on my podcast, I will stop bashing the company. I won't stop venting about work like these idiots today, but I will stop bashing the company until I retire, until we part ways. It's a deal. It's out there. Take it. So way back when, I have a good relationship with my customer care agent. I am just boots on the ground. I'm the caretaker. I respond to tasks. That's it. I don't have any interaction with customers, which is good. That all goes through our customer service center. And I had a very adept, very knowledgeable. We had a great work relationship. And then my bosses found out that she watches my podcast. So they sent me an email and they were like, hey, don't talk to her anymore. You're going to talk to this dude in Texas. And right away we had problems. We're fine now. But right away I had issues with a tenant that was breaking into the premise, hanging out all the time. I busted them once, hanging out in their unit, and they had it set up like to live there. And I walk up and I take pictures of them, and they're so funny because they're always so funny. Because they're like always sitting in the unit, and then when they see you coming, they start to they're always kicking back or whatever, lazy boy or something, and then they see you and they always start to kind of get ready. And when you take the picture of them, they're always like reaching to pretend do something, but then you get the surprised look on their face too. So in all of my pictures where I bust people, they're like inside their locker hanging out. It's great. But I did that once. I wanted to like document the shit out of them. That way it makes it easier to evict them. It makes it easier to back it up. We have a system where people call in and just talk to random people in Texas. They're not at the property, so they don't know the units. They don't know what is going on. So they just pull up, the unit number and go from whatever's in the system. Well, problematic tenants don't have any notes in their unit. So, you would think customer care agent would pick up the phone call. Hey, blah, 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 I'm in. Okay, what unit are you in? 067. 067. Oh, jeez. Hold on, please, sir. Mute. Jesus Christ. Look at this fucking guy's notes. Hello, sir. What can I do for you? This guy's an asshole. So, but anyways, I'm trying to document this guy, and apparently my new customer care agent didn't do any of the stuff. So now we've got this huge problem. The other thing is when I busted him the first couple of times, I was like, I gave him a warning, and then I came down pretty stern on him, and then I was like, you fuckers are getting restricted. You expect tomorrow an email and a phone call, and you're going to have different hours, and that never happened because my customer care agent dropped the ball there. And so then I would bust him again, and I'd bluff him again, and I'm like, you know what, I knew I should have done it last time. I gave you another fucking chance. Well, now you're screwed. Now it's gonna be restricted, and then nothing happened. So I think they're emboldened. I have like 4 units up there now that are camping out overnight. I've been trying to get them to fix the lights for a while. The lights are out in half my property, so it's fucking scary. But what they did when I took over this property 4 years ago, we chased out all the 24-hour access people because they were either a pain in the ass handful or most of them were all criminals. Our biggest one, our longest 24-hour person, had rented a huge bay unit, and he had built basically an apartment behind at the back of this huge bay unit, and then just draped a sheet over it, and then stacked a bookshelf with tools and stuff. So you didn't even know that there was, when you look in there, you didn't even know that there was, I don't know, it was about 4 or 5 feet. So I didn't know that when he was here. I learned that when he moved out. But when he was here, he would come. First day he came with a cute blonde. I'm like, oh, okay, this redneck's got a cute daughter. And so I kept my eye on him. And then he came with an older lady, and I'm like, okay, that's his wife. And then he came with another older lady, and I'm like, okay, that's his sister or something like that. And then he came with, a different lady, and I'm like, oh, okay, is he using this unit as a fuck shop? But now, after he moved out, I learned about the apartment. He didn't ever have them back there. It was just a fuck shop. But yeah. Then he was involved in my snatch and grab. I think I told a previous story about meth heads coming in when our gate was inoperable. We had meth heads coming in, and they would hit a unit. They would pop a unit, lock off a unit. They had scoped everything. Pop a unit off, pop a lock off a unit, and then they would go to the next unit, pop a lock off that unit, open the door, grab it, get in their cars, take off. Then they'd come back, cut another lock, go to the other one, throw it open. They were like cycling through it. And they hit like 5 or 6 units. I'm not going to tell that story again. But he was involved with that also. So either way, these 24-hour access people are fucking criminals. And we have a handful of businesses that do it, that are legit, that need access at all times. But the majority of them are homeless. I busted two at my property, and then all the people up there, as soon as I bust them, they're like, I got 24-hour access. And I'm like, well, you got to be moving, you know, you can only take a 15-minute break. I lost my keys. It's always the same fucking excuse. That's why they're sitting there. I lost my keys. I've been hunting through all my bags for an hour. Well, it's been more like 4 hours, but that's your excuse. So, our current leadership had the idea to bring back 24-hour access. And I was like, okay, you know, if you're trying to squeeze as much money out of this thing as possible. And then I learned that it's like a $5 add-on or something like that. They're not even making money for all the trouble that they're bringing on. So, but either way, that was their decision, and then they decided to not enforce any of the rules. So we got this new girl now coming in who's helping a higher up. And I said to her, I said, hey, are you gonna get shit done? Like, if I gotta do lease violations and stuff, are you are you the person? She's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll take care of it, and I'll push it up to Sarah and get an answer, and I'll follow through. I'm like, perfect. I need to start laying down the law at my properties. They're overrun. It looks like a homeless camp. I have grocery carts out there. I got people fucking staying in there overnight. And she goes, okay, yeah, give me the proof. So this not younger, but 40s maybe lady, and then her mom. You never know what they're always lying. And then a taller, skinny boyfriend. They're all, I've yelled at all of them, had issues with all of them, and they're just leaving shit out. There's jugs of pee out there, there's condoms, there's meals. Every time they have a meal, they just throw it wherever. There's 3 other units that are camping out, but this is the problem one, the one that started it. So I task out yesterday. I said, hey, okay, this is our first one. Let's go get them. This and that. We're kind of dragging our tail. I mean, we want to get everything right. So, but we're waiting on a decision from Sarah. And today I drive through, and there's just a huge stack of shit. A shopping cart with like a blanket over it. Just a bunch of other crap there. There's a customer there who's like, are you a caretaker? Yeah. He said, yeah. She goes, can you do something about these people? I go, yeah. We're working on it. We're trying to get an eviction. We got to get our stuff straight, She goes, that whole back corner smells like urine. And I go, I know, and I saw the jug of urine. She's like, it's just disgusting. And I go, I know, and I don't want to waste my time cleaning up the stuff when we're going to kick them out, because believe me, when I evict them, it's going to be worse what they leave me. I go out and come back a couple of hours later and go into the gate, and this dude is crawling out from underneath the fucking shopping cart. This son of a bitch was under the shopping cart, sleeping the whole time. Which reminds me of when I was in the Navy, man. We had these bunks. We'd have 3 bunks. You're 3 to each bunk on the ship. And you just have a little curtain that pulls closed. And I was on the bottom bunk. I used to crawl into a ball at the foot of the bed and leave the curtain like a third open. Because they're like, no way they think I'm in there that small. But yeah, I would sleep there. I would sleep in the back of that boat. fucking hot as shit back there. I'd sleep anywhere, man. Um, but yeah, what the shit was I talking about? Oh, idiots with this 24-hour access stuff. So that's done. Yeah. Um, I guess I realized something when I did that last podcast is I always forget shit. And the big thing was how much that bad Friday meant to me, and then also how much my new tattoo means to me. Um, I'm talking with a girl who is she's a black girl, but and I don't care that all of that shit is whatever. It doesn't. We're all, Um, but I could tell that when she was talking, we were doing voice notes and stuff. I could tell she had said a couple of things where I was like, "Oh, oh, is she gonna go there?" I could tell that race is probably an issue. I don't know that for sure. I'll find out when we meet. But if I had to guess, I'll bet she's not. She hasn't been with a lot of white guys. Because it felt like she started to hint around about. But either way, it doesn't matter. We started talking about different stuff and different perspective and raising and families and stuff like that. And she's a single mom. I don't want to go down this road. It will distract me. Um, but yeah, we started talking about being a single mom. She was raised by a single mom. Um, so we start talking, and she's talking about some of the problems that she's had in her past relationships. And we've got a good rapport going on. Shooting voice notes back and forth. We've got like 4 different conversations. So she's shooting me like 3 or 4 different voice notes. And I'm doing the same back in response. And she says something like, all of her friends were all like raised by, single moms, single parents. And I said, well, I mean, perspective is that's your perspective. That's the norm. In my perspective, my norm, there. I mean, most of the families were together. Some of them were divorced and remarried. My neighbor across the street, single mom. I mean, it wasn't like there was an absence of it. They were around, but the majority of them of our families were, married and stuff. I said I was lucky. Before we get to that, um, we started talking about single mothers, and um, this coincides with an argument that I got into it on Facebook. But single mothers and mothers that want to be friends with their daughters. Um, and more so single mothers because they don't get that discipline from the father. They don't get the, you are not wearing that out. Um, And hopefully with that statement comes a explanation, i.e., if you dress like that, you send a message, and that is the kind of guys you attract. And I was one of those guys. No, I wasn't. No, because of the thing that I was going to say next is a lot of times, and even when you dress like that, or your friends dress like that, and they're with a guy that is a nice guy, he's not a nice guy. He's lying. Um, and this goes out to girls if you're listening. If you're one of my 47 viewers, actually, it's more like 15 now as we've gone on. We've dwindled off quite a bit, which is really weird. That's another thing that was weird. Is but I don't want to go on a double tangent. Women, ladies, if you're watching, um, God, you don't have to show it off. You don't. The prostitute look is, man. I will tell you, a woman in sweatpants now and a t-shirt is more attractive than the yoga pants are tough, but definitely more attractive than those tight booty shorts that you got to pick out all the time that you wear at the gym, and a whole and then the negligee top. Fuck, have a little self-respect. And please stop with the swine rings and the metal boogers. Okay, off tangent. What the hell were we talking about? Yes, single mothers, best friends. You need that dad there to lay the smack down. And, anyways, I don't want to start going down familial shit, but I mean, I'm heading down that road anyways, but, and I'm not at all taking away from what single mothers do at all. Like, it's fucking tough to do. After my dad passed, my mom was, and, had to work shitty jobs to pay the bills. So God bless you single mothers, but, you know, she'd also fucking backhand us real quick. So it wasn't like we were best friends. But either way, that tangent kind of brings me to my next point. Is I was lucky enough to have just an awesome dad, and he was around for 15 years of my life, 16 years of my life. I don't know how old I was when he died. But when I joined the Navy, I got a tattoo. Just his initials and the date it passed. And I remember thinking, like, oh man, I would like this. And I was gonna get another tattoo. And I drew it up. It was Bucky the Badger holding the Wisconsin flag, but then it was, instead of the Wisconsin on it, it was gonna have the Packer, the G. And then I showed it to two girls that I boned. Oh yeah, and they laughed at it. So I was like, ooh. I envision myself putting this on my body and them laughing at me after I get naked, which is not a common occurrence, and it doesn't sound pleasurable, so I nixed that idea. Now, fast forward however many years, 20 some years. Wait, hold on. Oh, my back is fucked up from goaltending. 6 years. this shit day that I had on Friday, afterwards I was venting to my little brother, and he brought up the fact that it was the anniversary of my stepdad's passing. So after my real dad passed, I was a sophomore in high school, and my mom dated a bit, and then when she met Lynn, my stepdad, uh, I don't know how long they dated, but they asked me to be the witness in their wedding, and I didn't realize it until after he passed, but Lynn had become a big confidant of mine. We talked a lot, and so I'm extremely lucky to not have one really great father figure, but two. And I know Lynn had a previous marriage and family, but I didn't need him really to be a father figure. He was a sounding board, and somebody that I talked to. We told stories. He loved golf. He loved hockey, sports, and I didn't realize it until after he passed. I kept picking up the phone to tell him stories, and he wasn't there. And then that got me thinking about how much I had, he had been with my mom. They had been married for a long time. So he had been in my life for, I think it was over 20 years. So talking with my little brother and just thinking about things and realizing my sister was my confidant, bestie for a while. But then religion got in the way there, and we stopped talking. And I didn't realize it, but that I filled that void with Lynn. Lynn filled that void for me. So he meant an awful lot to me. So thinking about the crap day that I had, I realized that I really had to do, a tribute to Lynn, and that was an easy decision then, obviously, because the tribute that I had for my dad, I would just do the same thing. So after I got over the scratched eyeball and all of that, I went and got that tattoo. But then, so now the problem is, I started thinking, I was like, okay, well, my mom is not doing good. She's not doing, trying to get her out and trying to, she's basically, we checked her into old folks' home now that stepdad is gone, and she's just phoning it in. She's doing the same thing she did with Lynn, but more now because she doesn't have Lynn to, get her up into the groceries or to wherever. So she's just sitting on her ass. So not to be morbid, but I was like, well, leave. I told the two tattoo artists, I said, leave, room underneath. God forbid. But, that got me thinking which arm I should put her on, and realized not that she belongs with my stepdad more than my real dad, but this got me thinking about a different tattoo, and then the fact that I would have multiple tattoos, I wanted to give magnitude to this solo, my real dad, and keep that the only thing on that arm. So then I started thinking about, well, the other tattoo idea is I've got a lot of friends that have passed in some unfortunate ways and really left their mark on me. And came up with 4 right away and 5. I'm thinking today I was going to hit my friends up and go, man, I know I'm forgetting stuff. Hit my 2 friends up as soon as I texted them. I was like, oh, remembered another one, 6. Remembered my dog. If I'm gonna put tribute onto my body of things that broke my heart, Packer needs to be on there. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. So I think I want to get my 6 friends, 6 so far that I remember, on one leg, and then my doggy Packer on the other. My one friend though reminded me of a buddy that had passed. That actually worked at John's bar. Yeah. Okay. I think that's enough for tonight. I really don't want to go down. This road. But yeah, got a new tattoo. Hoping that will help give tribute to a great dude, great man that I love very much, and hope that'll even out my chi, my karma. I think it did. We're back to just normal shitstorm. So, do I want to do Uncle John, origin of Uncle Rico? So one of my friends, McTierney, passed. When I got out of the Navy, he got me my job bartending at this fucking bar, man. It was like the bar in La Crosse. They had a huge waiting list. So what they did is they'd hire people, the guys at least, would have to start out cleaning or cooking before they bartend. And they brought me in as a prep cook for Angry Hippie. Was the cook's name Angry Hippie? But I think it was like immediate promotion. I think I got an immediate shift or something like that. It was quick, and people were pissed. And I think that was Mike. But either way, Mike got my job. When I got out of the Navy, so the dynamic of me growing up as a kid was different. I was a son of a bitch. I pulled some legendary shit. I was a good-looking kid, smart. People knew me. I had an attractive older sister. My sister Megan was a head turner. So even older classmen trying to get to my sister would kind of befriend me, and I'd hang out. We had camping trips. I'm not going to tell the story about Jesse, but um, I hung out with um, older people. Mike was 2 years older than me in high school, 3 years older because he was in Megan's grade, 2 years older. But either way, I was at this private high school, Aquinas, for 1 year. It was right before my dad got sick, and right before he died. My dad did insurance, so he put me into private. I got kicked out of public school when I was in fifth grade, so he put me into the Catholic school system. And I did 1 year at Aquinas, and basically got kicked out of there also. But what I did is I called my dad and was crying, and I was like, I don't fit in here, you know. Like I talked about the hand-me-downs and stuff, and it was true. I did feel like an outsider. We were by far the poorest. We got a bunch of financial aid, and then because of how my dad was in the community, I think he probably got a lot of help that way also. But we were by far the poorest family at that school. But I went there my freshman year, and my sister went there then. Um, but I didn't know who these guys. Yeah, Mike was a year older, 2 years older. Either way, like I palled around with him, but and not even palled around. I would see him at a party maybe once or twice outside of school. But Mike was this life of the party character. Just always had a smile on his face. Um, when I got out of the Navy and moved back home, that was after Omaha. So I moved back home. I don't know. I'm confusing myself. When I moved back home, I started going into all these bars. And I walked into the kick-ass bar in La Crosse, and Mike is bartending, and he sees me and he immediately knows who I am, and he goes, "Holy shit, here's that?" And I go, "Fuck, man." And he had this puffy hair. It looks like he reminded me of Lynn Dickey back then, but now it's Dierks Bentley. Dierks Bentley had that puffy permed hair. And I'm like, "Holy shit, Tierney?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he got me the job there and everything. But the origin of John's is everybody had a nickname. So everyone had a nickname. It was kind of their thing. Guido was the manager. Gorm. I'm not going to go down the list. Mike was McTierney, but I don't know if he ever actually. That's just what I called him, so I don't know if that was his official. I don't know, but even my buddy Swiffy, his mom called and she's like, "Hey, is Dave working?" And I'm like, "Nah, there's no Dave here." And she's like, and I used to get fucked. I'd be fucked up from the night before. I could drink on shift. I was smoking all the time. So I was either hungover or fucked up. I was like, "Nah, there's no Dave here." And I had very short fuse. I blink. She called back. You sure there's not a David Marsh there?" And I'm like, "There's not. Look, it's me, another bartender, line cook, and I got two customers. And they're both super old. Is this guy old?" And she's like, "No, not at all. he's young. And I was about to go, well, he ain't here. But she goes, he's young and bald. And I go, Swiffy? And she goes, who? And I go, hold on a second. And I go, Swift. Yeah, man. Or yeah, Buzz. You know, I go, yeah, Buzz. And I go, what's your name, man? And he goes, David. Dave. And I go, oh shit, man. I think maybe your mom's on the phone. He's like, oh, he starts talking to her. So, but they were getting pissed off about me because I didn't have a nickname. And they were like pissed. People come in and they're like, oh, I'm a pretty boy. And I'm like, you guys are reaching. You guys are pushing. It'll come to you. Gorm was like, it'll come. It'll come. No, Guido would always say that. It'll come. It'll come. So I got a buddy, Matt, and MJR, Matthew John Ryan, and we were talking. He had this crew of girls that would just kind of follow him around. They were friends, you know, but they would come in when he worked and stuff, and we called him the harem. Called him Maddie's harem, and so the girls had just watched Napoleon Dynamite, and Matt talks in this very low, monotonous voice. Doesn't really. The most fucked up I've ever seen him. We had this foosball tournament, and foosball players are fucking assholes. Food modifying, pain in the ass, drink orders, but they don't drink because they take the foosball so seriously. I walk downstairs, and these fucking guys are stretching each other's hands. These two guys are like stretching each other's hands out against each other before a match. I was like, what the fucking shit kind of... Like, Matty, how you doing, buddy? Fucking busting his ass, sweat dripping down, and he looks up, and I got kind of excited because I was like, cool, I'm going to kind of see emotion here. And he's like, dude, not the time at all. And went back to just fucking... So Matt talks like Napoleon Dynamite. So the girls, the harem is... They're like divvying up the characters of the show. Like, oh, you be LaFonda, and then you're so-and-so. And they go... And I was hanging out with Maddie a lot. So they go... And I don't know how long I was there, but people were getting pissed. Like, we'd start closing... Like, every other night, we would close down the bar. And it was such a cool bar. The owner is such a cool dude. Wisconsin changed their drinking laws to, like, you can't drink when you bartend. When he did that, he's like, he had a employee meeting, and we're all like, man, he is going to cut us off. And he goes, from now on, you must take a mandated break at least once an hour. No more than that, though. And he takes a shot and he puts it on the other side of the bar, and he goes, I am now going to take my break. And he walks around the bar and he does a shot, and he goes, does everyone understand our drinking policy here? And I was like, TD, you are the fucking man, bro. But these girls are divvying up characters, and they're like, and I'm like kind of doing my thing. It was a slow night. I'm bartending there, and I come over and I'm like, what are you girls doing? And they go, oh, we're talking Napoleon Dynamite. I was like, oh, Maddie, doesn't he sound like him? And they're like, yeah, he does. It's so funny. I'm LaFonda, and I'm so, you know. And they go, who is Nick gonna be? And the one girl goes, oh my God, Uncle Rico. And from right behind me comes Guido, my bar manager. There it is. Ding, 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 Bard. Introduction. This is. He was our newest bartender. We've hired 2 employees since then, but this is our newest bartender, Uncle Rico. So everybody back home calls me Uncle Rico. Even my brother-in-law, Uncle Rico. So that is the origin of Uncle Rico's story time. If you stayed around this long, you got a little nugget, little knowledge nugget. Peace out.